Support comes from Missouri Forest Products Association, committed to sustainable and sound conservation of the state's forests, which support more than 41,000 Missouri jobs, resulting in a $10 billion industry. ChooseWood.com.
We hope you enjoy listening to this podcast of St. Louis on the Air, brought to you by University College at Washington University, with undergraduate and graduate programs part-time, evening, and online. University College at Washington University, offering world-class education within reach.
This is a big day in the St. Louis theatrical world. It's the day the St. Louis Theater Circle Award nominations are announced. Joining me in studio to talk about some of the nominations and the state of theater in St. Louis are longtime Post-Dispatch theater critic Judith Newmark and Mark Bretz. He is president and she's vice president of the St. Louis Theater Circle. Thank you so much for being with us.
Our pleasure,
It's our
Don.
pleasure.
It's an exciting day. It's an exciting day for you. A lot of people are listening and waiting for 1 o'clock to find out who gets
I'm sure
what.
they are. I hope they are.
Judy, I think it shows, looking through the list, you have more than 100 nominees this year.
Oh,
Is there
well,
120?
no, not we have over 100 shows that were considered. They're
Okay.
qualified, which is a very big number.
Yeah.
And how many would you say received nominations? How many shows, Mark?
We had, we have a list here, but like roughly 130 shows were considered.
That's the number I was thinking of.
And we had 54 shows received nominations. 120 artists received nominations, including 10 who received 2 apiece.
Right.
So
if
it's
we
been quite
if
a
we
few.
started reading them right now, we wouldn't get through the list by 1
don't
o'clock
think
this
so.
afternoon.
That's why we encourage folks to look on the web at 1 p.m.
We'll have it on our site. You'll have a site with all
Yes,
of
sir.
that on as well. And we'll have a link to that, too, if folks want to go there. Judy, one of the things that occurs to me, and going through this list, which is formidable, it really shows that theater, live theater, is alive and well in St. Louis.
It is, and I think the most exciting development this year was the number of new plays, world premieres that we give an award for new play. And there have been years when, frankly, any new play that was presented here was nominated. There weren't very many. I cannot explain it. Was it something in the air? Is the whole theater culture here just ripening in some way? And I'm delighted to say that many of these are from homegrown artists, St. Louis writers, which is great. And some of them aren't, and that's great too in a different way, because that means artists who live elsewhere are seeking out opportunities to have their work debut here. It's an exciting category this year with a wide range of offerings.
You were a theater critic with the Post-Dispatch for some 20 years.
20 plus. I was at the Post from the dawn of time. And then I spent the last 25 years almost as the drama critic, and now Kelvin Wilson is the Post theater critic. And I am blogging at judyact2.com, and I also am doing some writing for the St. Louis Jewish Light now.
We'll put a link to the blog on our website, too. The reason I pointed that out is I wanted to ask you if the quality of the productions has improved over those 20-plus years.
Well,
There's no question. No question. It used to be, there were X number of production companies around town, but the quantity has improved as well as the quality. And Judy mentioned 130 professional shows last year. That does not count the touring shows at the Fox Hamilton, for example. That raises it close to 150. And if you throw in community theater on both sides of the Mississippi, both sides of the Missouri River, if you throw in cabaret performances, you may approach between 250 and 300 shows a year.
and let me add
People can
college
see.
theater, Mark.
And college theater
which
as well,
is
yes.
often, college theater is a good deal. The tickets are usually very cheap, and I'll tell you one thing, they never phone it in.
And
the kids really give you a
mentioned
full
that
performance.
Webster Conservatory had a brilliant production of Fahrenheit 451, Ray Bradbury's story, back in December. Wonderful, done on the main stage at the Rep.
However, for the purposes of the awards, this is only professional theater that's cooked here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't count the Fox for the purposes of these awards. We don't count student theater. We don't count community theater. This is for people who are saying, this is what we do.
Many of these theaters are very small. Are they at a disadvantage when it comes to nomination time?
Actually, our colleague Jerry Kowarski assiduously takes care of the math for our nonprofit group, and this is the 7th annual ceremony. For the first 6, it's roughly been 50-50 of awards won by large companies versus awards won by small companies.
I think that the unspoken or unacknowledged advantage to the small company is intimacy. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful to be in a house where you could reach out and touch the actors if you wanted. And I think that they should do more to promote that as a big advantage. Obviously, they don't have the financial resources of some place like the Rep or the Muni, but talent doesn't have a price tag. You see good shows everywhere. You see bad shows everywhere. We try to make distinctions here.
It's great for the audience to be so close to the actors and the performers, but it's also great for the performers to be that close to the energy that they're appearing before.
And they have remarkable energy and remarkable talent. We're talking about on stage and off stage as well. There's such a breadth of artistic ability out there in our community. It's really fun to be.
I think a lot of people have. I've heard this several times just in the last few months. There's so much talent here. Mm-hmm. This is a great community to draw from, whether you are looking for performers or for designers. Mm-hmm. Anybody directors, everyone involved with the theater. You've got some real good choices making their homes here.
We want to get to some of the nominations in a moment, but first let me ask about, Mark, I'll take this to you, the nomination process. What's involved there? How do you come up with these names?
Well, what we do is at the end of the year, roughly in early December, when virtually all the productions have been shown on local stages, we send out a nomination sheets to the various members. There's roughly a dozen of us, and ask each of us to nominate 5 individuals in each category.
Up to 5. You don't have to if you don't think.
You're right, Judy. Up to 5. Now, just Tuesday evening, we had our tiebreaker meeting, where in several categories we had for the 5th spot there were like 4 or 5 people tied. So we had to determine which of the 5 would be the fifth name in a certain category. Uh-huh. And once that's done, then the news release is ready for distribution today. Here we are announcing live on KWMU.
All of us who vote have seen, at minimum, this is the requirement, 50 productions, 50 qualifying productions in the preceding year. Most of us have seen way more than that. You go to the theater 2-3 times a week. You're not going to miss much.
And if you see all 5 nominees, you can vote 5. If you've only seen 4 of the nominees in a category, you can only vote 4. The best note.
Jerry really works hard to keep it fair.
And if you've seen less than 4, you're ineligible to vote in that category.
All right. Well, as I say, we can't obviously go through the entire list, but we can do some of them and remind folks that at 1 o'clock on both of our websites, the complete list will be there. But let's start with my list here, and I think it is the same as yours, the Outstanding Production in Comedy. Who's going to
tell it?
Go ahead, Judy.
The nominees for Outstanding Production of a Comedy are Born Yesterday at the Repertory Theater of St. Louis, Into the Breaches from Shakespeare Festival St. Louis, Life Sucks at the New Jewish Theater, Luchadora at Mustard Seed Theater with Theater Nuevo, and Red Scare on Sunset at Stray Dog Theater. Mark, you want to take the dramas?
Outstanding production in a drama, if I get my sheet here. Blackbird at St. Louis Actors Studio. End of the Rainbow, Max and Louis Productions. Fences at the Black Rep. New Jerusalem, New Jewish Theater. And A Streetcar Named Desire, Tennessee Williams Festival, St. Louis.
Now, is there an advantage to having a name like that on the list? I mean, it's one of the classics of all time in theater.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, there's good points and bad points, Don. The good point is it's recognizable. The bad point is you had better have a stellar production because in the case of Streetcar, for example, who isn't going to think of Marlon Brando and Vivian Leigh?
Stella. All
And
right,
yet,
Judy.
that production of Streetcar and the production of Evita in the next category each received, they tied at 11 nods. They got the most nominations of anything.
This is the musical category.
Yeah,
Correct.
We're
Yes,
coming up to musical. Outstanding production of a musical. We have Anything Goes at New Line Theater, Crowns, a gospel musical at the Black Rep, Evita at the Repertory Theater of St. Louis, Jersey Boys at the Muni, and The Light in the Piazza at RS Theatrics.
All right, let's move to the. By the way, we should point out that opera is involved again this year.
We have 2 categories strictly for opera, and we have wonderful opera done here too. And as a matter of fact, we have close to half a dozen opera companies here locally now.
That has really blossomed in recent years. And we also give special awards. So those will go this year to we're giving 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards, one to Kathleen Sitzer of New Jewish and one to Steve Wolf of the Repertory Theater of St. Louis, and also an institutional special award to the Muni on the occasion of its centennial.
Yeah, Steve is hanging it up almost as we speak.
And Kathleen just did.
And both of those are for Lifetime Achievement, Kathleen's and Steve's.
Okay, let's go to Outstanding Director for Comedy. I think that's next on the list, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Outstanding Director of a Comedy. The nominees are Gary F. Bell, Red Scare on Sunset at Stray Dog, Nancy Bell, Into the Breaches, Shakespeare Festival, St. Louis, Edward Caulfield, Life Sucks, New Jewish Theater, Pamela Hunt, Born Yesterday, Repertory Theater of St. Louis, and Ana Skidis Vargas, Luchadora, Mustard Seed Theater with Theater Nuevo.
Okay, Outstanding Director for Drama.
For
Mark.
drama, we have Lorna Littleway, Fences, The Black Rep, Bobby Miller, The Dresser, St. Louis Actors Studio, Tim Osell, New Jerusalem, New Jewish Theater, Tim Osell, A Streetcar Named Desire, Tennessee Williams Festival, St. Louis, Anna Maria Pileggi, Blackbird, St. Louis Actors Studio.
And
go ahead.
for Outstanding Director of a Musical, Justin Bean, The Robber Bridegroom, Stray Dog Theater, Linda Kennedy, Crowns, a gospel musical, The Black Rep, Scott Miller and Mike Dowdy Windsor, Anything Goes, New Line Theater, Josh Rhodes, Jersey Boys, The Muni, and Rob Ruggiero, Evita, the Repertory Theater of St. Louis.
Again, we'll remind folks this is just a taste of what's going to be happening at 1 o'clock. You'll be able to read on our websites. One of our reporters has a question saying, 11 nominations, an unusually large number for a single show, and what, in your subjective opinions, made Evita and Streetcar so notable? We have a little over a minute.
I'll take Streetcar, Judy. As you referenced earlier, Don, it's such a familiar name. It's such a familiar show. So what made this magical was how director Tim Osell and his technical crew and his ensemble made this sparkle, and it made it fresh, made it invigorating. It brought to life the poetry and prose of Tennessee Williams.
And in the case of Evita, there was terrific choreography and terrific ensemble work. We think of that very much as an iconic show, that woman in the strapless dress with her arms in a V. But this production, Rob Ruggiero gave us a real good sense of the people of Argentina and their passion for her.
When and where are the awards going to be given?
They are March the 25th, which of course is a Monday night, the historically dark night for theaters, at the Loretto Hilton Center on Edgar Road on the on the Webster University campus. Where they have been $15,
Right.
Same
And
as always.
Available through brownpapertickets.com or at the box office on the night of the ceremony.
And you want more, just go to the website. We'll have, we don't have a website. We have a Facebook page. And go to the St. Louis Theater Circle Facebook page, and we'll keep you posted.
Okay, well, we're only 2 minutes away from the formal announcement of these nominees. Thank you so much. It's been great having you with us, Judith Newmark and Mark Bretz. Thank you.
Our
Good
pleasure,
luck.
Don.
Break a leg, as they say.
Happy to be there.
This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio, 90.7 KWMU.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, providing more than 41,000 jobs in the production of wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details at choosewood.com.